In this video, we talk about security and governance, the invisible employee, the fake boss, the financial fraud, the vendor trap, summarizing security and governance again, vision of AI in 2026, and strategic roadmap. This is the final video in the video series of AI jargon in simple terms. This is part of a nervous system of AI where we talk about how to control AI and use AI effectively. Let's get into the slides. Let's discuss security and governance. I think before talking security and governance, let's understand why the security and governance is required. See, when we are building any good AI systems, in most of the cases, we'll have to leverage on the LLMs or external APIs because they have a very competitive edge. They are already trained on a huge amount of data and the outputs cannot be matched by our internal systems. So while doing that, we'll have to inject our corporate data into LLMs or external APIs to get the required output. So the whole agenda of security and governance is my data, is our corporate data safe when we are using in the AI system. So let's talk about the four main elements of security and governance, which are data privacy, access control, guardrails and control, SecOps infrastructure. I think before getting in more details about these elements, let's understand what are the major problems we are facing in AI systems. Once we understand the problem, then it's easy to relate to all these components, all these elements, like say privacy controls, in a better way. So the first problem is invisible employee. So in this context, actually I spoke to some of my friends who are in the leadership position. How much AI adopted in your company? So most of the answer they said, okay, they are using ChatGPT and Gemini extensively, just to reformat their content or to do take any information about the analysis of the data or take some summary of the reports or creating presentations. So most of them gave me the same answer, and that's exactly is the problem what we are talking about, the invisible employee. So what exactly is happening is when the employees are using open AI, the one which is free APIs or free open AI, whatever the data we are putting, the corporate data, summarizing the data, or the creating the presentation, all this data are going and getting trained. Actually, the data is getting leaked into the AI world. This is exactly is the invisible employee, which is a problem which has been faced in the current AI system. So this can be solved with the first element what we talked about is a data privacy. One of the ways to solve is use the enterprise version of AI, like say enterprise version of ChatGPT, which guarantees the data privacy. So second problem is the fake boss or financial fraud. I think one of the example is most of us must have seen this video where our finance minister or the chairman, Infosys chairman, Mr. Narayan Murthy, they are talking about bitcoins and telling you to invest in the bitcoins. They are fraud created by all fraudulent people. Actually, even if you try to register there, you actually start getting calls from there, from multiple numbers stating you can invest in this Bitcoin. These are the kind of fraud, which you have seen after AI, where that AI looks so genuine. It actually looks like, the actual person is speaking and is giving you, is telling you to do something. So the verification has to be increased here. Any financial thing is involved or any signing of agreement signing off or purchase order is signing off is happening, everything has to be revalidated, re-authenticated physically or over a actual video call with the person before signing, something like that. This is like putting the guardrails and controls, and then SecOps or security operations, which can help in solving these kind of problems. So let's go to the third problem, which is the vendor trap. Imagine you found a vendor help who is creating the result, who is creating the product or the result or the marketing activities exactly the way you want. He is doing excellent compared to all other systems you have seen. But once your corporate data is uploaded onto the system, and if data is leaked, then the responsibility of that data which is leaked is come down either to the corporate or to the person who has leaked the data. And that data can be used by any competitor to help in their businesses. The vendor trap is basically where if you are trying to connect to any external API or vendor API, so the simple question to be asked to the vendor is my data used for training your model? If the answer is yes or is not very clear, then please do not work with that vendor. So these are the kind of problems we face in the while creating the AI systems. So now let's understand the security and governance in little more detail. Data privacy is where two things are served. One is if you have any sensitive data, like say your name, your phone number, email ID, all of them are masked before giving it to the LLM. Also, any other corporate data, information which is given, they are transient read. That means they're read for momentarily and used to create the output, and they never used to train LLM or they never get into the LLM system. So that is a data privacy in making sure the corporate data or your data is always safe and it is not misused. Let's talk about access control. The access control is where imagine you have your own systems, like say ERP system, where we have set the accesses to everyone. Like say for intern, we can only summarize the report, or if any HR person cannot go and see financial data, or financial person cannot go and see HR data in detail. These kind of same rules, the same set of rules is also made applicable to AI systems, where they won't be able to get any other information apart from whatever the access they have. This is how the access control can be done, where even the intern or some external vendors who has some access won't be able to misuse it. Guardrails and controls are like, say for example, you have a customer sales agent we have created who can talk about the product and the details, who can forward the person to purchase that market. So that is the restrictions or the controls which has been put, but they can't go and talk about what is the product turnover, what is the turnover of the product, how much sales have been done from last 2 3 months. And also for examples, the guardrails and controls is like, so imagine there is a nutraceutical product which agent is talking about, which helps in reducing sugar, but the agent cannot go and talk about the diabetes in detail. So these are guardrails and controls which has to be put in the AI systems. SecOps infrastructure is basically security operations infrastructure. It is like basically in any typical enterprise system where logging, monitoring, alerting, all these are happening. Like say for example, there's a lot of uploads of some sensitive data is happening. It immediately alerts or it stops updating that, and it will start alerting to the required systems or the human element to take the action. Finally, all the controls we are talking are maps to compliance standards like SOC2, ISO 27001, and HIPAA. So that gives the proof that control actually exists and are audited. Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about AI vision in 2026 and strategic roadmap. You can imagine, multiple agents working together, in which you have AI orchestration, a project manager who's going to coordinate with four agents, like say planning agent, scheduling agent, negotiating, and executing agent. Imagine customer gives one new order or a little complex order, then the order request is sent to planning, where the planning is done on how to execute this. After the planning is done, it goes to negotiating agent, which goes and negotiates with the customer for the price and the terms, and then the schedule is done on the execution part, like what are the timelines, what are the resources to execute this order. In the execution, the order is placed and the timelines are updated into the system for the execution. So this is what we can imagine in future, where multiple agents are working together with either a very little human intervention in between or without any human intervention for a simpler tasks. So if we look at how the evolution roadmap actually is going to happen, is the phase one will be RAG plus tool use, where like say chatbots, for example, where chatbots are used utilizing the content, the corporate content. And the phase two can be a constrained agent, where, for example, a loan agent which approves the loan based on the customer's transaction and his personal details. Phase three is a multi-agent handoffs. It's basically like what is discussed here. Each agent completes its task and it handovers to the other agent to do its task. So this is going to be the evolution roadmap. Strategic prerequisites is like robust RAG knowledge database. Basically, accuracy of the data and storage of the data has to be robust. High quality tools, API integrations. And third is comprehensive telemetry and observability. Logging and monitoring of any of the enterprise system or AI system is very critical. Coming to risk management and governance, strict sandboxing environments. Basically, any agents or AI systems created will not be connected to production or the main systems. It will be well tested before connecting to the main system. Defined resource and budget caps. Basically, agents will have a budget cap, like say for example, 2,000 or 3,000 rupees. Beyond that, it can't execute. It has to intervene with the human. And the last part, most important part is the human oversight is very critical until AI is doing its job with 99% accuracy. So this is how we can vision the AI in 2026. I hope this video series helps you understand the AI jargons in simple terms, and I hope you're able to also understand how AI systems works internally so that it helps you in taking a proper decision before adopting AI in your organization. Thank you.